Hello and welcome to the 20th, can you believe it, the 20th Women's Fund Annual Spring Luncheon. We are so glad you're here to help us celebrate the impact that we've made over the last 20 years.
This is exciting because we started with the party. Pat and I used to do a Christmas party for women we appreciated. And we started with 50 women, and when it got to be 350 women, we said that money could be better used. Because we had traveled around the country, we knew about women's funds, so we decided that we would put $500 in the foundation as the beginning of Women for Women and Girls in Wayne County. That's where it all began. And today, where are we, Pat?
We are ready to give over $40,000, which means the grand total will be, $425,000.
Well, I like to call it just almost half a million.
Almost a half
yeah,
million.
almost half a
I'm
million
a little
dollars
more
is going out.
specific than that,
Yep.
as all these people out here know. The impact has been on the individual lives touched through these grants, through mentorship, through relationships, through the Women's Resource Network, through preventative things. All of the projects work at including and giving voice to women and girls.
In all the things we've done, we've told many women's stories, and I think that's what's important.
But we don't want to forget another impact of the Women's Fund, and that is to give an opportunity for you all to be philanthropists. It isn't easy because sometimes we think, well, I can't give a large amount of money, but any and all donations and contributions to the Women's Fund will go directly to one of the projects and one of the initiatives. So we want you to see the impact that you have made. Watch these wonderful stories in this video that shares some of the ways we've had an impact over the last 20 years.
Being a Girls Inc. girl and getting the grant from the Women's Fund gave me and all the girls in my group an opportunity, I feel like, of a lifetime. There aren't many children who can say they've been personally invited to the White House and been taught to shake hands professionally at such a young age, getting business cards so that we can, show our professional development. I feel like I learned so many skills just in that trip that taught me so much about how interviews should go and how to conduct yourself in business settings. Just so many important people that I got to be around and learn from at such a young age, and wanting to model a program in general after a Black woman that me and a lot of the girls look up to, and being able to be in a room with them and tell them everything that we were doing because of them, inspired by them. Nothing like it.
The Women's Fund has been very supportive of Amigos. We have received some fabulous grants, and I'd like to tell you about all of them, but right now I'm going to call up one, which is the medical interpretation grant that allowed Pam and Amy to be trained in medical interpretation, and that was in 2012.
Really, the medical interpreting training kind of let us understand exactly how to do our job well. And really, to be a medical interpreter is not just to be an interpreter. It really have several roles at the same time. That training help us to understand how to do our job better and help us to understand how we can help and serve others, patients better. This grant changed my life in one way and also helped me to kind of discover a path, a career.
The amount of difference that the Women's Fund has made for our girls at Richmond High School and teachers has just been phenomenal. It has changed the lives of so many girls and given them opportunities to travel. Kate Hogg and Meg Hinkey both had a travel club, took a group of girls to Costa Rica to do a service project, again, because of the Women's Fund. And then Katie Rising with her group of girls who have traveled, girls who don't get out of the city limits of Richmond and are able to see the world. Again, those are just a few examples of what has occurred for all of our girls at Richmond High School to see the world, to know what their potential is, and to become leaders.
One of the earlier grants that we received from the Women's Fund was to run the workshop and then give women a toolkit at the end of the workshop, and that allowed them to go home and utilize those skills that they had, and it's exponentially more and more helpful for them because initially it's just like, okay, all you have is a drill, right? And that's great, and there's the empowerment piece of that, but then it's like, okay, well, I can fix this myself and I don't have to hire a contractor. I don't have to ask somebody for help, right? So it allows those women to continue to feel empowered.
The grant that the Women's Fund provided for me really did change the path of my life, both professionally and personally. Without them, I would not have become a certified freedom writer teacher, and it was life-changing on so many levels for me.
One of the things that they funded was the 50 over 50 project with Susanna Tanner. I was actually able to participate, and now I feel like I've gained like 49 new friends.
I'm lucky enough to be involved in several organizations who have received some of these grants, from Girls Inc. to A Better Way, which works with victims of domestic violence, to the Women's Workshop, so many of these organizations, and you see wonderful different projects, and at the same time they all encourage women to be better and girls to know it's okay to be strong and try things.
It helps with those of us who are trying to empower women to be all that they were created to be.
Educators like to dream big, and often the biggest roadblock is funding. The Women's Fund of Wayne County opens the door for hopes and dreams of educators to provide their students with adventure and bonding and mentoring opportunities. They make it easy.
For the last 20 years, the Women's Fund has directly impacted numerous programs that support women in the arts.
When I think of the work of the Women's Fund of the Wayne County Foundation, I think of it simply as women showing compassion to other women and children.
The Women's Fund reminds women and girls that they are worth the investment.
Thank you to the Women's Fund for 20 years of being an amazing partner for organizations like Girls Inc. Your support shows women and girls in our community that their future matters and that it will be better because of women and partners like the Women's Fund.
It provides funding to projects that empower girls on a grassroots level and therefore changes lives.
It's women telling other girls and women, I see you, I want to help you, so go be great.
The Women's Fund has created a sisterhood of strong and supportive women in our community. Each year, this sisterhood continues to grow, and I am so fortunate to be a part of it.
Thank you to the Women's Fund of the Wayne County Foundation. We are so impressed by the work that you have done over your 20 years.
Happy 20th anniversary to the Women's Fund.
I know that there's going to be at least 20 more and hopefully 120 more.
Happy anniversary to all of us in this room who support the Women's Fund. Thank you for your support in making 20 years possible, supporting women and girls in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you.